So we have already discussed each and every details and features about our REST API in our previous video. If you are new to REST API and you don't know anything about REST API, then you can follow our previous video. You will get each and every detail about REST API in our previous video. So kindly follow if you are new to REST APIs. In this application, we are directly going into practicality of the REST APIs. In this demo, we will discuss user functionality. Means we will take one user and we will take its ID, name and mobile number, and we will try to use each and every method, that is get method, post method, put method or delete method for deleting our user. We will definitely follow layered architecture. Okay, means we will create one project, Spring Boot project with few dependencies. Okay, most important dependency can be web Spring Web Starter. Then we will have Spring DevTools, and then we will use Lombok dependency also to avoid boilerplate code. Most important, we will discuss each and every annotation used for each and every method. Okay, means we have @get mapping annotation for get type of request. Get type of request is nothing but whenever you call any server with REST endpoint, you want to get some information from that server or that REST endpoint. You have put mapping, @put mapping to send or add any resource to our database or your server. So you have post mapping to add any resource to your server. Then you have put mapping. Put mapping is for editing our already resource. Means you want to change or edit any information related to particular resource. Then we use put mapping. Then we have delete mapping. It simply conveys by its name that if you want to delete any resource, then you can directly use @delete mapping annotation over that particular method which is performing delete operation. We have another @patch mapping. Patch mapping is also kind of put mapping only. Means if you want to add any particular information to existing resource, then we use @patch mapping. So we will directly jump into our example. First we will go to Spring website and we will create our Spring Boot project. If you are new to this, you can follow this website. It is having each and every information in very easy language. We have two options to create our Spring Boot project. You can go here in Spring Boot website and you can directly create project structure from Spring Boot website. But we have another way of doing it directly from our IDE. So we will directly create our project from IDE only. File, new, and then Maven project. But it is not normal Maven project. We have to create Spring Starter project. Okay. It is integrating with Spring IO only. See, you can read each and everything. Service URL is start.spring.io, means it is directly communicating with Spring website and it is creating the project structure. So we can take example as a user demo app. Okay, user demo app. We will use build type as a Maven. Okay, we want to create Maven project, and packaging can be used jar only because it is Java, so we want to have jar packaging. Java version we will use 17, but you can use Java 8 also or any new Java version which is currently Java 24, but I am using Java 17 only. Then here is group ID. Group ID is nothing but your company name. Let us consider your company name is like brainbeast.com or microsoft.com. Then group ID should be com.microsoft. Okay, commercial com.microsoft. Then you have artifact name. Artifact name is nothing but your name of the jar, name of the project. Means after compilation of this project, whatever the class files will be created, and that jar name will be created, that will be created on the name of artifact only. Then you have to specify version, which is nothing but a 0.0.1, means this is the first version of our application. And in description you can describe the functionality of your web application. And finally one package is given by them, it is by default, and it is we should keep it normally. Okay, then in next page we have to add some dependencies. Okay, means you need to add all the dependencies that you want to use in your project. So I would go ahead with Spring Web, because for developing any web application you have to include Spring Web dependency. Okay, we will go ahead with Spring Web. If you know, Spring Web dependency add lot of other dependencies with it. Means by adding Spring Web dependency we can add other, it will automatically add different types of other dependencies in our project. So it is big dependency having lot of other functionalities also. Then we will go ahead with Lombok dependency. As we have already discussed about Lombok, it is the dependency or jar file which helps you to avoid boilerplate code. As you can get confused what is meant by boilerplate code. It is a code that is repeatedly written in our applications, and we do not want to repeatedly write it and waste our space. So we can use directly Lombok dependency, and few annotations are there. By using those annotations you do not need to write each and every getter, setters methods, boilerplate code, and your Lombok dependency will automatically take care of that code. But one thing is very important when using Lombok dependency. You might think that you do not need to write boilerplate code, then you are skipped that code, but that is not the case. When you try to compile your project or program, Lombok dependency will add that extra code at the time of compilation. Means you do not need to write it in your project, but when you compile your project, Lombok has to write that extra boilerplate code. Means it is given to improve the productivity of the user developer and avoid the complexity. Means whenever you create any methods or any type of things, there can be typing error, or sequence of the methods can get wrong. So there might be a problem with uniformity of the code also. Means if you consider developer 1 and developer 2, one developer can use other standards to develop project or methods, getters and setters, while other developer can use different sequence or different kind of functionality. Means you can think about it as a one developer put at the rate means toString method in his Pojo class, but other developer is not putting that method. So it becomes the standard problem. Okay, means we to keep standard development and to maintain uniformity, we need to add Lombok. Okay, most important thing about Lombok is that for model classes or Pojo classes, we have private fields in it, like any type of private fields, because we write it as a private because we do not want to access those fields by external resources. We want to maintain the data integrity of our important fields. So and we want to achieve encapsulation also, data hiding also, and data binding also. So but in our project we want to access those fields. We do not want external resource to access that field, but we want to use those data. So we need to add getters and setters methods with public as visibility. So we will go ahead with Lombok dependency. Then we will add dev tools. I think you know about dev tools. It is Spring Boot dev tools. Okay, it is continuous integration. It continually integrate your code with server. Means whenever you add any one line of the code, it will directly execute it without your instruction. So it improves the productivity. Now we will create our project. This will take some seconds. First we will create our user Pojo class, okay, to transfer data from one place to other place, or one layer to other layer. And in this application we are using layered architecture, but we will not add service layer and DAO layer. Okay, we are not integrating our application with database. I have directly used list, and it will be created in our RAM only. We are not directly talking to database, because we do not need such type of functionality right now. Now we will go ahead with Pojo class. So I will create one new package. We need to create it in our main package only. com.example.demo. I will create model package. Okay. And for controller, we will create controller package. Now in model we will add our user class. Which will have its ID, string name and email ID in it. All the fields are private integer ID, private string name, private string email ID. Okay, we will take only 3 fields, and we have to add getters and setters, but we do not need to do that because of we have Lombok. Okay, we will add directly data. Then required args constructor. That's it, guys. We have developed our model class. Now we need to develop our controller, and here all the REST related functionality will become into picture. Okay, we need to think about practical usage of our standards, REST standards. So we will take one class named as user controller, because it is for user now. Now first of all we need to use annotation REST controller, because it is REST controller. If we are using it in MUC, that is model view controller, we use only controller annotation, but for developing REST controller we have to use @REST controller annotation. Then we need to use request mapping as the request mapping annotation, because it is needed to put your endpoint details. Okay, means your URL is specified here. Means whenever you want to access any resource, we need to have unique URL for it, and here we need to specify controller's common URL. So in our case it can be /API/users. So before this slash, we will have our in our computer we will have local host, but there can be remote host also, and if we want to access any remote host, then we need to specify the website URL here. Means if we want to contact with Microsoft, okay, then we need to place www.microsoft.com/API/users. Now we will create one list having 2-3 users. I have directly created that code, but I will write it for you. Okay, so this kind of list we will use for achieving persistence operations, because we are not directly connecting here to database, so we will go ahead with this type of list. See, you can think about it as a list of users, and name of the variable is users is equal to new array list. It is array list, okay, and here we are adding new users to it. We are adding ID, name and email ID of 2 users. So here you can think about it as a, this is your list, okay, you can add it directly here and it will not have any problem. Why it is showing error, I don't know. You have taken one thing, one users here. What is the demo lecture? User.java. 1 minute, guys. Why it is giving error, I don't know. Let's focus on our core functionality, okay? Do not worry about such type of errors. Now it is okay. Constructor user int string is undefined, okay, that is the major problem. What type of constructor we have defined? We need to add that constructor directly. So this constructor should be in our user method, and we need to have no arg constructor also. So we will add data @no arg constructor. All arg constructor also. Now it will not create any error because we haven't added all arg constructor in our Pojo class. So that's why it was giving error, but now it is fine. Now we will directly go ahead with our functionality, and that is nothing but developing REST endpoints. So first we will go ahead with our get method, get request, okay. Public list of users, get all users, okay. This is our method name, and it will return all the users, okay, list of users. We will use get mapping as its annotation, and we need to test it directly, because always remember one principle while coding: you have to write little code and test it, because you cannot write lot of code and after test it. So if you do that type of coding, then it is difficult to find errors. So you need to write simple code, then test it. If it is working fine, then add next functionality. So your approach of coding should be modular coding. Okay, you need to add one function, then test it. If it is working fine, then you need to add another function. If error comes, then you can easily understand that due to second function error is coming, so error is in second function. Always remember such type of principles while coding. Now we will test our application. Okay, directly run this project, run as Spring Boot app. Okay, we will open Postman also. We can directly call from web browser also, but we do not want to use it unprofessionally, or it's okay, but we have to add some method body in put request. That's why we need to use Postman. Here we are in Postman, and we will directly call our method HTTPS. Definitely. See, here you can add different method requests. You can see here different methods are given: for get request, get, post, put, patch, delete, head, option. All kinds of requests are given by Postman also. So here you need to place your URL, and we are using it in a local machine, so this is a URL. Why, you can ask that why it is using 8080 as a port. See, always remember that Tomcat server has 8080 as its by default port. We haven't changed it, so we have to call this port only. Oh, now it is giving error. Why it is giving resource not found, 404 error? Okay, we will see it, why it is happening. Yes, because we haven't placed complete URL of our request, so we need to change that. We will add that complete URL. Now we will test it. It should definitely give us some response. Why it is not giving git mapping? Let's read error message. See, always remember, whenever some error comes, your error will have its solution only. Means in IT field or in software development, it is a unwritten rule that you need to specify error code and error message with your error. So any person who reads that error can understand what to do and what not to do. Why it is not allowing? Okay, I need to check our few things in pom.xml. Okay, we have added each and everything. Okay, here is one error, we need to check it. Now we can send that error request. Method not allowed. Here we have used one thing: user controller, users get mapping. I think something is missing in our code. We need to think about it properly. Our class is public. Let me see our public. Yes, this is also present. Why it is creating problem? Let us see our Pojo class also. It is having getters and setters. Email ID is there. Okay, it is having zero arc constructor. So we have add no R constructor also, all R constructor also. Required R constructor also. It is okay, it is working fine. What to do now? I need to work on some important things. Why it is not working? Let me consider this code. Why it is creating a such type of error? Okay, not allowed. Okay, get, we need to add get, and see, this is giving our response. We did one mistake with our request. To get some data, we added post request, so it will not give us data na, because to get some data from server we need to use get method. That's it. Okay, so now you can see the response from our server. It has given us all the users in our system. So this is get type of request. Now we will use another type of request with our code. Now we will go ahead with get mapping only, but we will fetch one user. We will not fetch all the users. So we will call that user by ID. Now we will develop that method. Okay. So we have used get mapping, and here ID field will be in curly braces. So whenever you place any particular ID, it will look that ID in our database or any type of persistent layer, and it will try to fetch that details about that user by comparing that ID. So to access such kind of request specifying ID, you need to use @path variable as your annotation to get that value. See here, you when any user request that ID, this request will come here, but you need to access that number, ID number. To access that ID number, you need to use path variable as a annotation, path variable and annotation, and by using that path variable, your requested ID come into this ID field. Okay, now you are returning your user by comparing that ID. Here we have used stream API. You might be already know the stream API in Java 8. Okay, it is a API which saves lots of coding and allows us to develop our code with builder design pattern. Okay, so it will check our ID. If that ID finds, then it will return that ID, or else null, means if we don't get any ID, then it will return null. So now we will call this method also, okay, with ID. Now we have saved it, and you can observe one thing. Every time we add any code and save that code, our server automatically executes it, restart itself and execute new code. So it is happening because of Spring development tool, that dependency we have added, because we do not want to spend or waste our time each and every time whenever we add any new code. We do not want to start any server and fetch all the data. We need to do it automatically to save our time. Okay, now we will call our method with particular ID. Now we will call with true number. Okay, it should give us one field related to Ravi as a user. Yes, it has given us that field. Now we will call some ID which is not present in our database. We will take 4 as ID. Now it will give us error response or null response. Okay, just observe what will it do, and it has given us null. Okay, so that's fine. It is working according to our specifications or thinking. Now we need to add one user to our request, our database. So we will use post mapping as a annotation. You can read it. For post request, post mapping is annotation, and at the request body. Why it is used? Because whenever you want to post some data, let us see you want to add some user, then you need to add some data with that request, means user ID, user name, user password, or user mobile number, email ID. So it collects that all the fields and sends our server as a request body. So its name suggests us that it is kind of body containing lot of information. So we take that information and we add that information to our database. So let us send such a request to our server. Here we need to use post mapping, and we need to add one user with our specified key and value format. Here body is there, and we need to add one params. Okay, why it is not fetching values? Body form data, form data, yes. ID, we need to see our Pojo class. Okay, ID, name and email, ID, name and email, ID, name and email. See, we will add three ID as a 3. Name can be Dhananjay and email dj@gmail.com. Okay, just see what response it will give to us. It should give, see here we have written user, so it will return us the newly added user. So let us see. It has given some error. Okay, unsupported media type. Why? Because text should not be text. Okay, or raw binary script params, query params. We do not want to add any query params. We just need to add some description to it. File ID, text. Okay, we need to convert that ID. Okay, here it will create that user. Whatever we will do, we will add one thing here. It should be taken as user ID only. We will send JSON request only. Do not confuse yourself with such kind of requests. Key ID, value 3, name, email, j at gmail. Okay, .com. We have written the request. Now let us see how it performs. Why it is not taking? We need to send it like this only. Okay, this is the form data, raw value, headers, authorization setting script. Why it is not giving us binary form data, params. We need to add it as a form data only. Body, raw binary, GraphQL. None. We need to add it as a string only. Can you make it string? Let's try it, how it will work. We just need to add it. So guys, some error is coming. We will definitely look into each and every. We have already covered lot of things. I will try to solve that error, but right now our video is becoming little bit lengthy, so we will stop here and I will cover each and every remaining part in next video. Thank you guys.